Hey everyone, Nathan of HeyPoorPlayer here, and I want to give you my impressions on the multiplayer demo of Dawn of War 3. So for those of you who don't know, Dawn of War is a long-running RTS franchise, and it's been a really long time since we've had a game. Now, Dawn of War 3 is interesting because while people are excited about it, people are also really concerned because Dawn of War 1 and 2 were very different games, and people are really wondering what the direction of this game will be. So my hope is to kind of give you a general idea of how the game functions, at least from a multiplayer standpoint, and also maybe alleviate those concerns that you may have with the game. Just right off the bat, I want to say that I had a blast playing this game. As someone who likes RTSs, maybe I'm not pro esports or anything, but I do like RTSs, and I had an enjoyable time with this game for the time I did get to play with it. So without further ado, here's my impressions. So without taking up too much time, let's start with something people have been wondering about, the races. So there are 3 races in Dawn of War 3. There are the Space Marines, your jack of all trades sort of dudes. You have the Eldar, which are cool, technologically advanced space elves, and you have orcs. And there's a lot of orcs because they spawn so many of them, Jesus. So they all played radically different than each other. And one of the big concerns was that, hey, there's 3 races and they have similar themes to StarCraft races. Is this just a carbon copy of StarCraft? I want to just say no right off the bat, because as a guy who does play StarCraft, I played the Eldar because they reminded me a lot of Protoss, and I got destroyed because they do not play like Protoss. So while thematically the races are similar to StarCraft races, your orcs are like Zergs. They have a lot of units, a lot of them like expendable, cheap units, but their whole idea is to swarm the enemy. The Eldar are very technologically advanced, they have expensive units, but they have a lot of features like a shield. And Space Marines are just sort of in the middle, kind of jack of all trades. They're like the newbie class. So if you're a StarCraft player going into this, you might be fine because the general idea of RTSs, but like those specific mechanics don't carry over. They're very different and they are not carbon copies, and I want to get that out there right now. So one of the other things is the heroes. The heroes are a big addition to this game, and they're really cool, and I like the way they function mechanically. So the way heroes work is you get points throughout the match. You either get them over time, just naturally, or you can do actions in the game by being aggressive and such, or taking out units, taking out buildings, and you get those points through that. So the thing with the heroes is they all cost points, but some of them cost more or less points than others. So there are heroes that are meant for early, mid, and late game, and the point of the heroes is to add variety to the factions. So while the factions already have variety, the heroes add more variety by accommodating your playstyle because heroes have different skills. They also function a cool thing in terms of pacing, because that means that every stage of the game is important. The way I can describe it is that because there's heroes during every phase of the game, it means that every phase of the game you must be doing something in order to get those points. And I like that because it's not a game that's completely focused on being over in 10 minutes. It's not a game focused on being over in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It's a game that's more focused on rewarding you for being good. Even though I say it's early, mid, and late game, you can get points by being aggressive. So you're rewarded for being a good player, or you can just play the game out, and that can also be viable if you're good. So essentially you're just rewarded for being good, and heroes exemplify that even more. So one of the things original Dawn of War fans enjoy is that the game was super fast paced. While there was macro in the game, which means building units, getting resources, etc. That's what I mean by RTS macro. It didn't bog down the game. It didn't slow the game down. It was there, and it was something you had to keep focus on, but it didn't slow the game. So the way resources work in Dawn of War 3 is that there are resource nodes. You put a unit on it, and over time you capture it, and once you have captured it, you get resources over time. So you don't need to build workers or units, and you don't need to be mining stuff like other RTS games. You just need to have a unit there, you capture it, and you get resources over time. So here's the caveat with that. Enemy units can also capture those points, and this game really encourages you to fight for those nodes. So for example, I played a game where I just wanted to build up units and I didn't send out a lot of scouts. So I took the nodes that were near my base. Those were the ones that were very convenient for me. Unfortunately, because I wasn't fast on the trigger, my enemy took all the outside nodes and starved me out because he built more units to defend those nodes, and I couldn't skirmish him for those nodes, and it starved my economy. So the point of the nodes is that you have this sort of resource, and it wants you to think about macro, but at the same time it wants you to fight for those through small skirmishes. So there's always action going on, and even the buildings sort of exemplify this sort of pacing because there's not a lot of buildings. Whereas other games have simple buildings and advanced buildings, you just have one page of buildings and you unlock them as you upgrade your base. So it has base building, it has resource management, but it's there to complement the fast-paced gameplay, and that is what's really cool. So the point of the new Dawn of War is to kind of exemplify the features that were good in Dawn of War 1 and 2, especially Dawn of War 1, while also doing some new things. So I think the best aspect of what I played from the demo was the pacing. I think the fact that there was a sort of goal for early, mid, and late game, the fact that there was a lot of fast-paced battles going on and fast-paced skirmishes, and the fact that like macro management was there and it's important but it's not boggling down the experience made it a very cool game to play. So I had a lot of fun with Dawn of War 3. I think the biggest thing about the game is the fact that it is really fast-paced. And when I mean fast-paced, I don't mean like 5-minute matches. I mean more that there's stuff going on at every point in the game, regardless if it's early, mid, or late. I think a lot of original Dawn of War fans like me who didn't enjoy Dawn of War 2 so much will enjoy this game, but I think there's something there for everyone. The heroes add a lot of variety and they're just super fun to play with, and I do like how they're not a win condition by themselves. I like how they're meant to complement your army and add variety to your playstyle. I also like the fact that macro management isn't such a big deal, but it's still there and it's inherently important. So a lot of people were worried what the direction of this game would be, and I think they have a focus and I think they're executing it perfectly. I think they want a game that is both varied and fast-paced, and I think they're achieving that. From the couple of games I played, I didn't win a single 1v1, but I still had a lot of fun. It was cool to see the strategies that even people who weren't like super esports pro were kind of doing, and I hope to see more of the game in the future. So while Dawn of War 3 isn't completely like revolutionizing the RTS genre, I think it's a nice breath of fresh air. I love the graphical fidelity of the game, I love the setting, the lore, and the gameplay is more up to my speed than other RTSs. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the game. I hope this eases your concerns. I know that a lot of my colleagues were also concerned with the game, but rest assured, I think the game is pretty damn solid as it stands right now, and I haven't even gotten to play the single player yet, so keep that in mind too. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a good day.